Welcome back to Kimchi Rednecks. We are here again for the Will It Shine series.
Yeah.
This is my official shining outfit. If I'm ever shining and I'm not wearing this outfit, it's because the laundry fairy's on a holiday. So, what we've got for this time around is we're going to start with the mash. We're going to do everything in the right order this time instead of like the last video.
Yep.
Anyway,
Take care of
so
our post.
we've got a starter kit from Tapcraft. Find them on Amazon. Tell them to give us some money. We're going to try this. This is a 3-grain mash. So we've got a Moonshiner's blend of sugar. We've got cracked corn. And then we've got barley malt and rye malt. It also comes with the necessary yeast nutrient, amylase to help break stuff down, and one-step sanitizer. Everything you need in one bag, so we're going to try it. So, first off, I've got a pot. That's still cooling down from the last run, so we're getting started the same day as the last video. First thing we're going to do is get this up to temperature, because this is on the fire. On the fire! And then I'm going to do stuff in the order that my head tells me it should work. We're going to put the sugar in, melt it into the water. Then we're going to put the cracked corn and the other grains in. Once it gets to, I've got directions. It says like 180. So once it gets around the 160, 180 range, we're going to put this in. We're going to let it start soaking up some hot water, turning into like porridge. And we'll get back to that. All right, so we got our pot of water up to about 150 degrees. I'm going to be a little impatient here. We're not doing this quite right anyway because it says to pour 5 gallons of water in and mix all this together. I was going to use the 5-gallon pot, but it's still like 200 degrees, so we're using that one, which is about half the size, so this is going to be fun. Hopefully this will all fit in that pot. Sugar's already been dissolved, so we're going on to cracked corn. Knife safety. Point the stabby end away from yourself.
Cut away.
Do me a favor?
Yep.
Go ahead and stir that while I put it in.
Sure.
And get the bag open a little further.
Yeah, that might help.
All right. That's getting thick awful quick. So I'm pretty sure we're supposed to put all 3 of these greens in at the same time, so.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw! Almost threw the bag in there with it. So there was the rye. I don't even know what rye is. The only thing I personally know of that has rye is rye bread, because that's what you get a Reuben on. Pastrami on rye.
Mm-hmm. Rye beers are becoming pretty popular too.
And there's the malt barley.
That's a soup.
This is turning into a cereal soup. All right, so we get to stir this until this reaches like about 180 degrees and then cool it back down. Hopefully it doesn't make oatmeal. All right, so Glenn here has been stirring the stuff for like half an hour, so we've got cereal soup going on. This is the point at which the instructions say we're supposed to throw in our nutrient and our amylase.
Which means more stirring.
This I think you only actually have to stir in, so.
Yep.
And from what I hear, this amylase, once this goes in, within like 5 minutes or so, you should see this stuff start breaking down into more of a gruel and less of a oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
All that's thrown in.
What was that?
And we'll see what that looks like in a minute. And now we're back. If I remember correctly, I started this video in the other week.
Yeah, last week.
So, we didn't, or I didn't, I think, remember to record actually putting the stuff in the buckets and setting it back there. But it's been a week. The buckets here, let me set this out the way. If you can see into it, I'm not sure. It has a nice pale kind of amber lager color.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The bubbles got very few bubbles left in it, so I think most of the yeast is done going through on it. And it's got a nice cornmeal-y smell. Is that a word?
Yeah, cornmeal.
It's like somewhere between cornmeal and corn flakes, but it's, one of those baked corn good smells, which since this is corn whiskey, yeah, that's probably good. Now we're on to pouring the mash into the bucket. So what I think I'm going to do this time, because corn whiskey is supposed to have that corn taste to it, when we pour this out, I'm going to keep the bag of the grains and whatnot, and I'm going to put some of that in here with some of the alcohol from the last run to charge the thump keg. So that'll help our alcohol content a little bit, but hopefully it'll also keep it more
concentrated flavor.
more grainy, more. Let's pour this in. And there's the chunkies. It's both good and not.
Almost.
I don't know what to say about
almost off-putting. Almost.
So that is 5 gallons of corn mash.
Yeehaw.
Oh, I should keep one of these buckets out and ready because I got to get the bag out.
Yep.
No need to make Melissa mad at me for dripping stuff. I'll squeeze this a little bit and try and... That's one solid lump of...
Yeah, it is.
Still draining though. Turn it this way and let gravity help. I don't think we're actually going to press those solids much.
Oh, that was a pretty good ring.
That was a pretty good ring. We'll just drop that in there for the moment. Set that out the way.
Oh, man. Yeah, that smells good.
All right, so I'm going to move this to the side for the moment. We've made a couple of changes for this week's run. As you can see, we're not on that side of the kitchen. We're on this side of the kitchen. Had some problems later in the run with not having enough ice to keep the pot of water I was using cold. So I was having to like change water out and that just got messy. So we're running the water in the sink. Probably would have been a good idea in the first place. So obviously we're sitting over here next to the sink. One of the things I'm going to do this time is we're going to heat the pot up without the lid on it first and see if we can't get it up to about that 150 mark where it starts steaming off the bad stuff before we seal it down. So I gotta say, for one thing, that is an unappetizing color.
Yeah.
That's not the thing you look at and go, I gotta give me some of that. As a safety note, the instructions do say do not run this induction eye through a power strip because it can pull somewhere upwards of like 2200 or 2500 watts and that'll probably fry just about any power strip you're going to plug it into. What I do have is a 1-to-1 extension cable running from over there to over here because whoever designed this building decided it was a great idea to put one set of outlets in each room. It's like nobody needs power over here by the sink. So we are going to turn this on and get this going and probably hook the rest of the stuff together to be ready later on. So we'll be back.
Magic.
All right, guys. So we've been about an hour. Since we're cooking this a little different this time, so we're not going to go over all the same things that we did on last time because most of it's going to be the same. But what we're doing different is we've left the top open and we've got it heating up. It's running almost 150 at the moment. And I'm gonna switch to my little cam here. Hi.
Hey.
So, if you can see, I'm gonna see if I can focus on it. You can see that steam rising out of there. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it right back here. The steam on the side of the pot. At right about 150 degrees, that is the bad alcohol, the methanol cooking out. We're gonna let this go for 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna pop the top on. We've already got our thump keg charged with some grain and some...
a shot.
Vanna White it for us there, Glenn. There you go, watch the temperature probe. So, we've already got this set up. We've got the thump keg charged. All we got to do is basically put it on and lock it down and we'll be ready to go. So,
Yeehaw.
Yay. So a little bit of action cam while we're waiting here. If you can see, we are dripping. We're making heads here, and we're not super high setting there. We're only on a 7, but that has got, if we can see here, our thermometer pegging at just shy of 200. So as long as we're below 200, we're all right. 185, 190s probably where I'd like it to be, but you know, take what you can get. I don't have fine control of the heat on this. I'm kind of flip-flopping between 7 and 6 to get this fast drip or a slightly slower drip on the 6, but that'll bring the temperature in the pot back down a little bit. So there she goes. We're still waiting. Alright, so first off, holy crap. This run went a lot longer than the last one.
Well, we did have to pause it yesterday.
So we did have to turn it off yesterday because we had plans yesterday evening.
For dinner, yeah.
So we got one jar cooked out yesterday afternoon, and then we had to turn it off, and so I turned it back on this morning around 9:30?
Closer to 10 probably. 9:30, 10.
Okay, and it's 3 hairs past a freckle.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock. So I've been doing this for almost 12 hours today, plus about 5 or 6 hours yesterday. This one went not necessarily off the rails, but a whole lot longer than I expected it to. But
Sorry for that yawn, people. I'm tired too.
we finally got to the point where we've cooked all the alcohol out of it that seemed to be coming out of it. We also learned
that the hydrometer is a broke-ass hydrometer, is really, really broke.
So we thought we had the levels figured out, but then that didn't quite work out. Because jar number 1, which is a nice, clear, maybe slightly yellow tinted.
Slight tint to it, but not bad.
According to our hydrometer math, should put this at about 210 proof, which isn't possible.
And it didn't taste that high. I mean, it tastes hot for damn sure.
Yeah, it's
hot.
This thing will cook your eyebrows off. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, don't put that over here.
You'll get loopy sniffing that one.
So we know it's high alcohol.
We know it's high,
200.
but it's 200's 100% alcohol. It can't be 210 proof.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
So we have since gone on Amazon and purchased a new
We've
hydrometer.
ordered a new hydrometer, so hopefully we'll have better numbers in the future. But we haven't really marked off how big these are.
We haven't measured those.
But we've got about 2/3 of one of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these.
Now we still have to temper it.
So,
which we'll do. Probably not tonight.
Well, I'm thinking something crazy. I'm thinking just pouring all of them into one container so they mix, and then temper that down and see how that does.
Probably a good idea, but not tonight.
I'm gonna pour them all in a container. I think they'll probably fit in that 2-liter bottle. I doubt we have more than 2 liters of alcohol there.
You really want to do that tonight then, huh?
Well, that'll take 5 minutes. Okay, so never mind the Korean branded water bottle. We have almost right on 2 liters of alcohol out of this run.
Yep.
Oh, that's bitey. Mm-hmm. That's because we put all of it in there, so that
all
first stuff that came out.
The first stuff was really high.
Pass me the broke-ass hydrometer. We'll see what it comes out with in comparison to our other stuff. That is reading right at 90. I'd say he's probably split it into 2 of those bigger jugs or something and get some apple or some fruit or something to put in it. Well, I mean, I know we got those jars. I'm talking about put some fruit or something and infuse it to smooth it out.
Oh, okay. But for now, we're just leaving it in this.
Yeah, for the moment, we're going to leave it in this. And then we'll figure out the whole infusing it thing later to get some of the bite out of it. So, that was the first run with, well, damn, I thought I had the name of the kit. I will look it up and I'll link it in the description. All right, hold up there. We got an addendum to the last video. So, the whiskey, after we put it all in the same bottle, still kind of tough. So what we decided to do was we were going to run down to the market, grab a couple of fresh seasonal fruits, and split it up into containers with different flavors. So, let me show you what we got. So, since Chuseok is next week, which is a big Korean holiday, they have these gift packs out. So, this is a Korean apple. You know, how big it is in my my man paws there, don't give you any frame of reference. I don't really know what to tell you. There it is next to a 2-liter bottle. But that is relatively a large apple. It's at least half again the size of like a Red Delicious or a gala apple or whatever I normally would get in the States. And then you got this big old softball sized SOB. This is a Korean pear. Korean pears don't taste anything like American pears. They have a texture almost like an apple and a flavor that's halfway between like a sweet apple and a pear, which is why some people call them apple pears. But, so what we've decided to do is I've got an apple sliced up and thrown in this one, a pear sliced up and thrown in this one, and this one we mixed with some of this bokbunja sauce. That's like a, you know, I'm not sure if it's a berry or a berry mix. I've heard it called mountain berry, I've heard it called wild berries. I'm not really sure what the translation on it is, but I mixed that up here. We cut it down with a little bit of mineral water, and we're gonna let this sit overnight or so, and then we're gonna taste it and see if it's picked up any smoother flavor. All right, so we are back with our run here. So we've let it sit for a couple days. I took the fruit out already, but we got pears and apples. And this one we mixed with the bokbunja and let it sit. So after a couple days, I've already tasted this. I'm pour Melissa a little.
Oh, I get to be the taste tester?
All right, so that one is pear. After a couple days, the fruit has taken some of the harshness out of it, and you can taste kind of a hint of the flavor of it.
Okay. Can I taste it before you go on?
Yeah.
Okay. Still has a very good smell to it. You don't smell a lot of the pear, so there's that. The pear does not add a fragrance to it.
It didn't pick up a lot of flavor from it, but it did take some of the harshness out of it.
Definitely took out some harshness from it. Also, there's not as much heat to it.
Yeah.
But you don't taste a lot of the pear.
Right.
So the pear itself either needed more time in the jar or...
Well, after 2 to 3 days, it was starting to look a little brown, so...
Yeah. So the pear, we would probably have to infuse pear if we were going to do it that way in the thumper in order to get more pear flavor into it.
Right.
That would probably be the best one with that. All right, so apple.
Or go with Plan C.
Ooh. There's a little bit of apple. Like, it's not like a large hit of it, but...
You have to know the smell of Korean apple, but you do get a hint of it.
I can smell Korean apple on this.
I don't think the apple took as much harsh out of it.
It did not. The pear lightened the flavor of this, but you don't taste any pear. I taste a little bit of apple, not a whole lot, but it also didn't bring the strength of it down much. Right.
So one thing that I did notice when doing this one...
Sookie Dog, you're not getting moonshine. You might be a moonshining dog, you don't get to sample. All right.
We'll see how this is after a couple days sitting.
So, bokbunja. I think I tried this when you originally mixed.
Right. But when we mixed this, I used a little more water in this one. And I did notice that tempering it down with water does take a lot of the bite out of it.
Okay, so the smell from this one, I can definitely smell the bokbunja. So the berry is there in the fragrance. The berry is very much there in the taste, and I don't taste any of the bite.
I mean, there's a little bit of it on the back end, but...
Yeah, I'm not tasting any bite at all.
That one's definitely the smoothest of them at the moment.
That is very smooth. I like that. That's one that Mama could drink.
So...
Because I don't like my liquor to hurt me that much.
Now, the aforementioned Plan C, after I spent, all the time cutting up fruits and putting it in there.
And his wife mentions, but what about...
Well, she remembered that you can buy Korean apple juice.
And it's very much, for Korean apple juice, let me just tell you, when you drink this, all you taste is apple.
It's very flavorful.
I don't know if they add any extra sugar to this, so I don't know. But I do know it's very flavorful and very apple. Same goes with the pear. So
she remembered that, and when she reminded me of that one, I remember they also make pear juice. So we're going to temper these down a little bit with some fruit juice.
Now, there may be a little bit of water added in that concentrate when they make these. We don't know. However, we do know we were going to have to put water to temper them down a little bit more anyways. So why not flavor them with the juice instead? How much are we pouring?
Let's bring it up to about the top of the window there, whatever they call that.
Damn, that bite is still there. That bite on this is strong. If anything, I think the apple is leaning into the bite. Am I wrong? Was the apple like, yes, we might?
It is strong.
How is the pear? Still a little strong?
All right, so let's bring it up to the top of the arch. I know this is real scientific measurement, but
Picking up a little bit more of the scent of the apple.
this still basically has about no scent.
All right, that brought it down a little.
That's weird. That's got almost all the bite out of it, but it's still not giving it really any pear.
I pick up a little note of pear when I smell it. Much less bite. You got to remember, we're not working with concentrate.
This is true.
So if we were working with something like if I had mashed down pears and apples and made concentrate and we were working with that, we would pick up a lot more flavor. We're working with juice. Juice is not going to flavor it as much. This still needs some.
Yeah. Well, I'm also worried because, like, if you taste the difference between this, which obviously is pear juice, and this, which has some pear in it, it's not. I don't want it to temper down too fast because this is juice, but I do want it to get some flavor to it, which it's getting kind of.
You don't want to take all the alcohol, you know?
Yeah, well.
Did you drink all this? Not. All right, that definitely picked up a little more apple in that scent.
There's definitely kind of a tipping point when you're
All right.
tempering it when it.
I think this is more to your liking. I think I hit my point there. Because you can taste apple in that. It's not strong. It's still a little bit of bite, but not a bad bite.
I think a little bit more apple juice in it.
Really? I'm afraid you're going to just take all of the bite out of it. Still needs to have a little bit of bite.
It's right kind of at that point where I think it just needs a little bit more apple flavor. Is this mine or yours?
That one's yours. Like I said, you're not going to get a shit ton more flavor in that. All right, I smell the pear. The pear smell of this is really good. So you can definitely smell the pear. I can taste the pear in that now.
So we're getting to the point where the bites.
It's not bad. I just don't think you're going to, unless you want to cut another apple up and let an apple sit in here for a while, and then do that for another week, I don't think you're going to get a lot more apple. And even then, I don't know that you're going to get that much apple out of it.
True. But that one's kind of at that almost like watery apple
It
taste
is getting to
stage.
watery apple if you do much more to it. So, what you've learned.
It's always better to put your fruit in your thump keg to infuse it.
That, but if you're going to do like we did with this, you need a concentrate.
Yes, a concentrate.
We need a concentrate or an extract. What we should have done, tell you what we should have done. Shaken the apples and the pears that we bought, and we should have cooked them down and then mashed them up and then squeezed the juice out of all of that and used that to flavor. And that would have gotten you the flavor you're looking for.
Probably, yeah.
So, learning as we go. And if I'd thought about it at the time, I probably would have recommended that, but you were so excited to put fruit in the jars.
I was.
He was like, I'm going to put fruit in the jars.
So, drinkable?
Yes.
Not the best run.
I think, here's the thing. I think you need to let it sit, and then I think you need to chill it.
So chilling it would probably
Because
help
we do
some.
know
yeah.
that chilling it makes a better flavor, and we do know from experience the other one we did that had the blackberry in it.
The messel.
And the messel. The longer it sat in the fridge cold, the better the flavor turned out.
Yeah, it wound up getting pretty smooth after a week or so.
So, we know these things, so I think if you want to put these into the smaller bottles or smaller containers and put some in the fridge and let it sit, we could do that for a little bit.
We could do that and give it a try.
We're not ready for our next mash yet anyway, so.
Which, that's coming up. I got a plan for this one. We're going to do some regional Korean ingredients. That's going to be fun.
So learning as we go, always learning, which is a good thing.
Yes, the concentrate is better for flavoring.
Concentrate or extract.
Or extract is better for post-flavoring. If you want
If you want to do juice.
to do juice or fruits, do it while you're brewing it.
Yep.
That's it for this week. Next time on Shining in Korea. Or is it Let It Shine or Will It Shine? I forget what we call this playlist.
Shining in Korea.
It is Shining in Korea? All right.
Shining in Korea.
So next time on Shining in Korea, we're going to do Korean ingredients.
Woo.
We'll see y'all next time. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. See our Buy Me a Coffee link below if you want to fund our dumb endeavors. Buy us a drink. Y'all come back around.